Hey everybody, it's 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock is with me, Father Warner. We are in Wednesday of the third week of Lent, and our first reading is taken from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 1 and verses 5 to 9. I recommend very strongly that you pause this video at this point of time and read this very beautiful text from Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1 and verses 5 to 9. Also, for your benefit, I have in the description box of this video given you the link of the reflection for the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 to 19, which is the Gospel of today. You can also go to my blog pottipadre.com, go to the search and simply type the text of today, that's Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 to 19, and it will take you directly to that reflection. The same is available on YouTube. I've entitled today's teaching, A Prescription Accompanied by a Description. A prescription accompanied by a description. Now, if you read the Bible and cover the story of the people of Israel right up till the time of Jesus, you will readily condemn the fickle and disobedient people of Israel, and you might even feel a sense of sorrow for their loving God. But why stop at the time of Jesus? Humankind has changed little and has forgotten the wonders of God that they have seen. They have let it slip from their minds and have failed to pass on this message to their children and their children's children. That is a verse I just took from our text of today, verse 9. Now, the narrative of today takes us to a point where Israel as a nation is poised to enter the promised land. They are going to depart from the land of the king. So they are poised to exit the desert, poised to enter into the promised land. They are going to depart from the land of a king, from Pharaoh, who seeks their death, and then enter a land which is flowing with milk and honey, where rain falls from the sky. Now, God's first instruction to the people of Israel was, I want you to attack this strong nation that you are going to enter, and I want you to push them out of the promised land. Now, it is at this very important, this very pivotal moment that Moses communicates to the people the statutes and the ordinances of God that they are to observe in the land that they will soon occupy. So clearly, God does not get into a negotiation with the people of Israel. They don't have what we call today have a healthy debate over which statutes, which laws, which ordinances, which commands they are to follow. Nor are these statutes, ordinances, commands which are given to them up for people's subjective interpretation. You know, today there is just way too much of discussion about the subjective interpretations of God's commands. That's the irony. We are discussing what God has decided. You know, there is a growing clamor for the church to keep up with the times. You know, it must be said, and I want to say this very clearly, the commandments of God are timeless. They are for all generations, for all peoples. G.K. Chesterton once said, and I'd like you to remember this line, it's a beautiful line. He said, I don't want a church that moves with the world. I want a church that moves the world. So in the text of today, God clearly tells his people that the law he gives them must be observed diligently. This word diligently is opposed to the words casually, or even worse, the words indifferently. So central to this word diligent is one's effort that has to be put in. You know, commandments are not easy to keep. It requires effort on our part, and God makes no bones about this to his people. But keeping his commandments diligently is not some choice given to the people of Israel, because God says, and look at it in chapter 4 verse 6 of this text, he says, You must observe them diligently. You must observe them and observe them diligently. And that is why I entitled today's teaching a prescription. You must observe. Must observe is a prescription accompanied by a description. Observe it diligently. Diligently is the description. A prescription accompanied by a description. You must observe my law, but observe it diligently. Now, diligent observance of God's law makes literally others sit up and take notice. Remember, keeping God's commandments is hard work, and this struggle to keep God's commandments is a universal fact. Everybody struggles to keep God's commandment. It is a universal fact. It is easier to give up and give in, but when someone goes against the grain, goes against the tide, it draws the entire world to sit up and ask, how does he or she do it? And that is what we need to do. Christians must be the exception, not the norm. You know, by its very nature, my dear friends, Christianity is countercultural. What do I mean by this? The values of Christ stand in direct opposition to the values of the world. But sadly, when Christians do not live these commandments, the world does not and will not sit up and say, this is a great people that are wise and discerning. The words again of our text today from chapter 4 verse 6. So it is ironic that we want to appear good to the world rather than be good before God. Finally, God reminds his people, and these words I take from today's text, he reminds his people to take care and watch themselves closely. You know, they were asked not to forget the things their eyes saw or let them slip from their minds. God commands the people to make known his commandments to their children and their children's children. I want to end with this thought. Satan's great strategy is to make us remember that we should forget and forget what we should remember. God bless you all for joining me each day. God bless you for your prayers this Lent, for your devotion this Lent, for your dedication this Lent to our Lord Jesus Christ. I want to thank you all, my dear friends, all of you, for your constant support for this ministry, for your support for the home for our children that we run in Nouvet. It is run by the Love, Joy, Hope Foundation. So if you'd like to make a Lenten donation to these children, to this home, it has an ATG facility, which means that you get 50% discount on your, or a 50% rebate, not a discount, a rebate on your income tax. But you also get the joy of taking care of children in a loving, in a safe environment. So thank you, all of you. You can always write to me. My numbers appear on the screen. And don't forget, as usual, to like this video, to share it with your friends, leave me a comment, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it. God bless you.